I don't think I've heard the baby yet, but maybe the baby will make an appearance. All right. So hello to everyone who's tuning in. So welcome to our live stream series, Popdust Playlists. And I'm your host, Abby. Today I'll be talking with Daisy the Great, and they're a really fantastic indie pop duo who I believe are based in Brooklyn. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Awesome. And their new song Persephone is out now, along with a really good cover of Simon and Garfunkel's Scarborough Affair. So I'm going to be asking Daisy the Great about records that have impacted them throughout their lives. So welcome, Daisy the Great.
Thank you.
So first off, can you guys introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I'm Kelly. I can say a little bit. I'm from New York City, cool. And I am in Daisy the Great.
I'm Minna, and I'm from New Orleans, and I live in New York. Well, we live in Brooklyn, and I'm in Daisy the Great.
We love it. Cool. So your new song Persephone that just came out, it has this really great like 70s singer-songwriter vibe, at least to me. And I'm sure Simon and Garfunkel are a huge touchstone for you and your musical references, but do you have any other albums kind of from that era that you feel like are maybe more overlooked that you turn to a lot for inspiration?
I mean, I think like Joni Mitchell is a big influence on both of us.
Blue, definitely. I think also, I mean, Fleetwood Mac, no one here is necessarily overlooked.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I love Fleetwood Mac. I love the Everly Brothers and the Roaches as well. It's not like exactly the same vibe, but we also really love the Roaches. Hammond song is like very dear to us.
Yeah, we like that they have like with the Roaches specifically. I mean, we discovered the Roaches like more. Not like recently, but like we didn't like grow up knowing the Roaches. We like learned about them like maybe a few years ago, and we like they're kind of like they all have like intense voices. Like it's not like a like soft, sweet like. Help me out with this. It's like they have like intense voices that blend really well together, but they're still like distinct, and I think that that creates a really cool sound. Similar to like, I mean, this isn't like that era, but like Girl Pool also, I think.
It's like Simon and Garfunkel have, I think what you are saying is Simon and Garfunkel have a very lovely, lilty harmony most of the time. And that like the Roaches, similarly to Girl Pool, have like a more textured harmony.
Yeah, like, and we like to like use elements of both of those things depending on like how depending on the song we're writing and singing.
Right. Cool. And then another thing I really like about Persephone is I feel like the lyrics almost have this sort of Shakespearean, very like just a lot of imagery in the lyrics. And I just think that's a really cool thing to do in like modern music because it has this very classic feel again. So do you have an album that you kind of associate with that sort of really vivid kind of almost like I want to say like a literary, almost like a literary kind of lyricism.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite album maybe of all time is Fiona Apple's Idler Wheel album. I can't tell you the full name of it because it's very long.
Yeah, of course.
Those two words. But that album feels so poetic, but also so clear to me and so visceral that like, I mean, that probably is the album that I've listened to like the most times.
I've listened to the Either Wheel and When the Pawn like so much, and I think it's not necessarily like exactly the same vibe, but I think that Fiona is a gigantic lyrical inspiration to both of us, and we both loved her records so much growing up, and that I think it kind of just like seeps into what we like and what we like to make, and taking weird, bold like paths lyrically is something we try to do. I think
it's our favorite thing. I mean, we also like how like theatrical she is too, and her like I think setting up images and like the way that she sings and like the instrumentation and everything around it is just also meticulous and also like bold and not there to like, not a song that like can kind of like play in the background. You just have to like fully listen to it.
Right.
So we love her.
I love her too. I love talking about Fiona.
Always, yeah.
So I think I love the Scarborough Affair cover. First of all, that's a song for me that was, you know, always playing in the house during my childhood. And I feel like especially in the pandemic, everyone has been doing covers, whether they're like properly releasing it or it's just like a one-off sort of live stream thing. But do you have, in just like a dream scenario, if you had the means, do you have an album in mind that you would cover like front to back if you could?
Whoa.
I mean, that Fiona album, yes.
Yeah, I would cover probably the Fiona album too.
Hunky Dory, I would cover. We love Bowie. Honestly, the Angel Olsen album, Woman, is
My Woman,
My Woman. That one's really good.
Or also maybe like a Dirty Projectors album.
Oh, the
like,
one with the
that worked up.
Yeah.
Swing Low Magellan. Swing Low Magellan.
That's the one I like.
Yeah.
The one with the socialites. I love that song.
Wait, yeah.
Cool. I would love to hear any of this.
Our new project.
Well, send us the budget.
Okay, Drew, we'll drop the Venmo, we'll drop the GoFundMe in the comments.
We'll make a voice memo version of the album and send it to just you.
Oh my god. So was there any album, I know you've mentioned Joni and Fiona a lot, but and you can repeat those again if it's true, but are there any albums that you feel like, you know, you kind of heard it and you were like, this is, I want to be a musician now, like just having your whole kind of view change and knowing that music was something you wanted to pursue?
I mean, my most influential album is probably, is it called Let Go or Let It Go?
Let It Go.
Let It Go by Avril Lavigne. That's like the only CD I had growing up, and I would listen to it on my portable player, and sometimes like me and my sister would listen to it in our room and just like, I said our room, like we didn't share a room, and we in her room, and like just would sing it so loud. That Avril Lavigne, I think, has like seeped into my bones and like will never leave. So I don't really listen to it anymore, but it's there.
I think that I would say there's two times in my life that I think I would point to. One is like feeling the feeling of belting pop, which I would point to Breakaway, the Kelly Clarkson.
Yes.
And I think the other time that it really like took another turn was listening to Laura Marling.
Ooh.
Probably any of those, like Alas I Cannot Swim or Creature I Don't Know. Because I hadn't ever really heard music like that, and I thought it was so amazing and so interesting, and it was so inspiring at the time to start writing like cooler lyrics. I was just like, oh, I can be so cool. I think like I have a lot of ideas actually. So I think those two pushed together honestly feels like my vibe.
Kelly Clarkson and Laura Marling.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Yeah, I mean, songwriting wise though, like Fiona Apple was where I was like, oh, you can be like kind of a weirdo and sing like kind of like low and gutturally and like these different things that I mean, we both grew up doing musical theater to show our bones right now. It's
all there.
Yeah. So like, I mean, I grew up watching like The Wizard of Oz and Singing in the Rain on VHS with my mom, and then like my mom's a jazz singer and she would sing like jazz standards and stuff. So that's like the music that I like knew when I was little, and I always like loved it, but I also felt like, especially with like the musical theater songs and stuff, that I wasn't quite like where I wanted to sing or like where my voice fit really. And then I listening to Fiona Apple, I was like, oh, I can make music and like feel good about singing it. And and like write like the weird pictures that I see in my head and stuff. So I think she was the one who I was like, oh, I could actually do this listening to it.
Nice. I love that. And I can tell that we're probably the same age because you talked about Breakaway by Kelly Clarkson and Avril. I was like, if I could pick two albums from like, I think those are the first two CDs I owned.
I have the Breakaway, like the piano sheet music, and I used to like play Since You've Been Gone.
Oh my gosh.
Scream at the piano.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I did not know that existed because I probably would have my parents would have just been so upset with me. All right, so like you said, we're based in Brooklyn. I say we because I also live in Brooklyn, and I feel like, you know, obviously there's such a huge, not only like DIY scene in New York, but just, you know, there's like the classics, you know, everyone talks about like the Patti Smith and Talking Heads kind of era, but do you have any albums that you either new or old that you feel like just really encapsulate or just really remind you of New York?
I feel like I've read about New York, but my music feeling of New York is still like my friends. Like when I think about the music scene, I always just think about my friends. Also, like I went to school where Lady Gaga went to school. I think she graduated when
she's so old.
No, she graduated, I think, when I was in 4th grade. But I also, when I was growing up, really associated like downtown New York music with like Lady Gaga, early Lady Gaga. I just wanted to like be a part of it so badly. And she was a gigantic icon for me when I was growing up because obviously she was like so nearby to me in my head that I was like, I can do this because it just happened. Just
right.
I really, really associate New York music with that, like, you know, Rivington Street, like playing those venues there with early Gaga and all my friends, I think, mostly.
Cute.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't grow up. I grew up in New Orleans and then moved here when I went to college. So I was surrounded mostly by like a lot of like live jazz music. And when I moved to New York, I wasn't super involved in the music scene. I mean, we both went to theater school and started getting involved in music after we graduated college. Kind of like writing songs and stuff like throughout, but not like really like thinking about it as a thing until graduating. But like Kelly, I've also like read a lot about like the music scene and like have a picture of that world. And yeah, I mean, Patti Smith, Talking Heads, like Velvet Underground, like Andy Warhol vibes. Like everybody's like, I want to hang out in the crew. But I think that like there's like a new version of that, and it's like it's our friends.
Yeah. Do you want to name drop any friends while we're here?
Name drop friends, baby.
Our guitarist / bassist, well, I can say both. Our guitarist / bassist, Bernardo Ochoa, just released an album called Songwiring that is really, really excellent.
His band's called Panther Hollow.
Yeah, Panther Hollow. And then Matt, who is also our guitarist and bassist because they switch off. Matt's project is called Cat Lau. And his album is called Kadori Ave. And there's definitely
there's like people. Two. I feel like if we keep naming them, we're gonna like leave someone out and then feel really bad later. But Nardo and our drummer Mati are also in a band called Ackerman.
Yeah.
So those are the bands that are
really in-house
in our band. I feel like we should stop there, but just I really don't want to leave anyone out. So,
I understand.
We'll be like, we've said 50
we're gonna have to write letters later.
Yeah. Sorry. We're sorry for the millions of people watching this.
There's just so many friends. Too many friends to keep up with.
But you know, like everybody who's like playing at like Babies and Rough Trade and like Mercury Lounge and where do you play? I mean, they're all gone.
I know, like Transpicos. Is Transpicos still doing things?
Yeah, you know,
the spots.
The spots.
The spots.
Yeah.
Cool. So I feel like, myself included, I feel like a lot of people turned to older music in 2020 just as like that source of comfort that we all desperately needed. Did you guys have any albums that they can be like decades old or even just from a few years ago, but was there anything old that you kind of returned to last year?
Yeah, I listened to Pet Sounds a lot. I listened to The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. I mean, that's not really old, but it's not brand new. I listened to, honestly, Patsy Cline, which I didn't know was country music, like, because it's like so old and has like different influences that I was like, oh, this is so good. And then I was like, country music? I don't listen to country music. And I was like only listening to like her Showcase album. As it was just like old country, and came to terms with the fact that I like old country music, like from the 60s. So yeah, I mean, I've been listening to a ton of like 60s, like Mamas and the Papas, Etta James, Ella Fitzgerald, Beach Boys, Simon and Garfunkel, Beatles.
Hell yeah.
To a lot of Beatles, a lot of Queen. I've been also listening to a lot of like my old playlists and stuff. Like I was going through my iTunes, being like, what songs did I buy back in the day? And like listening to, like, I remember buying New Soul. That song,
yeah. I like that song.
I can do this. That was like the first song that I bought on iTunes that I thought I like discovered it. Like I remember not knowing how iTunes worked, and I was like, so incredible. I think it was number one, and I was like, I just found this song like so incredible. And so I've been listening to a lot of those like weird one-offs that are just in a playlist that I have. And yeah, I've been listening. We're making a record right now, so a lot of our listening is also trying to like get inspo and put weird stuff together. I've been listening to Fiona, Big Thief. Yeah, a lot of Big Thief.
Mm-hmm.
I've been listening. I mean, new stuff that came. I mean, I don't know if this is a question later, so
we can go ahead and cover it now. What's some new stuff?
I did want to say before we jump to new stuff that I just the growing up thing again. Listened to the Shrek 2 soundtrack a lot growing up, and I mean that soundtrack is excellent.
It's really good.
The first song is Accidentally in Love, and it's so good. I mean, I just rewatched Shrek 2 also. And I also, do you know the movie Josie and the Pussycats?
Yes.
Okay.
I love that movie.
I used to watch that. Like my family, I had a lot of siblings, and we'd go on road trips, and we had like this tiny little TV we put on the back of a car seat and watched. And we would watch. We had like 3 DVDs, and it was like Josie and the Pussycats and like Gremlins and I don't know what else. But we watched Josie and the Pussycats so many times, and like that was my like idea of the music industry.
Yes.
Those songs, I love them. I just re-listened to that album.
Oh my gosh.
Movie.
I think they just put it on HBO Max, so I'm trying to schedule like, okay, when am I going to rewatch Josie and the Pussycats?
Oh, they did, and I watched it. I mean, Parker Posey is so cool. I love her. But yeah. Oh, so next
new,
new stuff.
I love Adrian Lanker's songs. Instrumentals. Listen to that on. I mean, Kelly and my roommate got me a record player for my birthday or Christmas. For Christmas, they got me a record player for Christmas, and that record, and that's all the only record I had. I got more since, but I just listened to it over and over and over again. So good. You want to go?
New records, yeah. I listened 2020 records. I listened to Adrian Lenker. I listened to Color Theory. I listened to Punisher. I listened to
Dua Lipa's new album.
Oh, yes.
I
Really
listened to
I love Arlo Parks' new record. So,
Oh, yeah.
it's so good.
Sawayama is really good.
Mhm.
And I don't remember when the Doja Cat record came out, Hot Pink, but I listened to that for like a month straight whenever that happened. Like 4 songs, and then every time we've been in the car, I'm always like, great, let's put on this record, and then I'm like saying put my effort to performance.
Your effort to perform.
Yeah, I was gonna say put my work to use, but that isn't what I mean. I mean, like, I want to show off that I did that I spent all that time listening to it.
Learning Georgia cuts.
Sure.
Megan Thee Stallion's record is also
Oh my gosh.
great. I mean,
Love her so much.
One is so good. That's the thing.
Yeah,
Like,
Charlie XCX also. I listened to a lot.
we're like exposing that we love just like really mainstream pop music.
Titanic Rising also, the Wise One.
Yes.
Claude's new record's really
Mhm.
good. I'm like looking at my phone now.
I'm also looking Free Love, the Sylvanessa record. I also
Oh, yeah.
Movies, the Slow Pulp record.
Looking at my phone.
Yeah, we're both phone kids.
Well, other stuff that we like are listening to and we like is on our page. We have some playlists that we've made
Ooh.
that are just like, I mean, it's not all of the music we like, but it's a lot of it.
Mhm.
So if you just like take a song from that and find that album, we're probably listening to the whole thing.
Love that.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. And then you hinted that you have a new album on the way. Are there is that still under wraps, or do we have any details we can share? Do you have a timeline for when that's going to be coming out?
We
No.
don't.
That's okay. Nobody has a timeline for anything right now.
It's not a timeline, but we are working on it all the time, and we're very excited about it.
Yay.
Yeah. We are like almost done recording. And then we'll have mixing time.
Yeah.
And then we'll have a timeline.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, then that's all the questions I have. And then next we're going to have Daisy the Great perform some songs live for us here on Popdust Playlist. So you guys can take it away.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Which one do you want to do first?
We can play
Let's do first.
Persephone first.
We're going to sing 2 songs. Wait, I want to do
Persephone. Whoopsie. Persephone just came out last week, and there's also a music video on YouTube. Okay. Good? Good?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm good. I was like,
Okay.
who are you talking to?
Light of the silence, no one believes her when she really loves you. You'll never know. So nobody trusts her, and everyone leaves her. A promise is nothing, the sailors all go. And she always thinks that she'll keep you beside her, but slowly the instinct takes root in her throat. The blight of the siren is that she destroys everything in her hands like a bad puppet show. Persephone, 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 Persephone. The blade of the siren Every word from her lips is a sign that she's hungry for blood. She's a killer, and more so, music is sweeter than honey. But honey, oh, think what a monster she is at her core. The light of the silence, that she's a menace, a beast like a wolf in a candy store. Persephone, 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 Persephone. Light of the silence, history wrote her as evil for men to avoid at all costs. Call her the temptress, the whore, always luring those good boys ashore, the pure virtuous. Light of the silence, everyone's always been scared of a powerful woman. Persephone, 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 our silent force. Persephone, 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 Persephone.
Cool. All right. Now we're gonna sing a song from our EP that we put out in quarantine, called Soft Songs, and this song is called To Be Alive. Got sweaty fingers. Mm-hmm. There's a quiet night, and it's messing with time till I'm something else, and I'm watching the sky, so constant and wise, so I hold myself. I wanna stay up late, I'm young again. I'm gonna keep the light on, I'm gonna lose my mind. Talk to my old imaginary friend about what it's like to be alive. There are thoughts in our heads, lying with us in bed, and we wonder why we see stars when they're gone, and we lose what we love. Hold on, oh, we try. I wanna stay up late, I'm young again. I'm gonna keep the light on, I'm gonna lose my mind. Talk to my old imaginary friend about what it's like to be alive. My room is a rocket falling to Mars. My hands in my pockets are spilling the stars.
crying in my head. I wanna stay up late, I'm young again. I'm gonna keep the light on, I'm gonna lose my mind. Talk to my old imaginary friend. Know what it's like to be alive.
Yay! I love the awkward silence after where there was supposed to be an applause. Well, thank you guys so much for coming. That sounded great. And thank you everyone for tuning in. Again, this is Daisy the Great. Check them out on Spotify, on social media. Yeah, Persephone is out now. Scarborough Fair is out now. Soft Songs EP is out now. And an album is coming eventually. All right. Well, and that wraps things up today. But again, thank you guys so much for coming.
Thanks, Abby.
Bye.